Jog Vlog.
So in my Netflix viewing, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Electric Boogaloo, and get ready to hate me. You know, oh, dislike, unsub, all this shit, right? It was an okay movie at best. Okay, so it starts off well enough. We have a CGI'd up, young'ned Kurt Russell with long hair. He's hanging out with Star-Lord's mom. He's talking about how she's pregnant. He's happy, and he planted some plant behind a Dairy Queen. Big deal, right? Then we have the Guardians 34 years later. How old is Star-Lord exactly? But they're defending some battery installations against some monster. I don't know how they got the intel this monster wanted these damn batteries. But he does. And they're cracking wise. It's Raccoon and Star-Lord are having a tiff, and it gets on my nerves. Everybody's got these rocket packs on. They're fighting this monster. But little Groot, you know, because Big Groot, whatever the hell happened to him, he essentially becomes little Groot, or this is Groot's kid, or I don't know, shit. He's jamming to the Volume 2 of the Awesome Mix, right? So there is a lot of that late 70s, early 80s kind of pop rock sort of music going in this movie. And it's appropriate here because we get the idea that this is Star-Lord's music that we're listening to. So he's jamming to this, and we're listening to it, and the opening credits are going, and we have all this mayhem happening in the background. Well, they defeat the monster, and then they go and collect the reward from these gold people led by Tall Gold Chick. And they're like, here's a cash or whatever. And it's like, hey, we needed this, you got this gal captured, right? I can't remember her name. You know, it's like Gamora, it's Zoe Saldana's sister, Blue Bitch. So I'm going to call it Blue Bitch. And they got her captured, and there's this trope in movies that's really getting on my nerves, where someone is handcuffed, or they got, like, they're covered up, and they're being led somewhere, and they're always fighting. I'm a wild animal. Let me go. Just walk. Why is it always being played up as some kind of weird torturous walk? Is there a name for that trope? Because it's pissing me off. Well, so then they're leaving, and then the Raccoon's like, hey, I stole some of these batteries. And then the gold people pursue them. How do they do this? They have an arcade set up with a bunch of drone ships, and they go after the Guardians. If they had this shit, all these ships, why didn't they fight the monster? Did they need hand-to-hand combat for this? Nobody bothers to bring that up. Well, so they look like they're about to be toast, and Rocket and Star-Lord fighting over who's piloting the ship. And then Kurt Russell shows up, rescues them. But they kind of crashed on this planet, and he's like, hey, so I rescued you. Oh, you're my son, Peter. That's Star-Lord, Chris Pratt. Yeah, you guys repair your ship. I'm going to take you to my planet. Okay, well, we're not all going for some reason. So Blue Bitch, Raccoon, and I think Groot stay behind. And then over on Kurt Russell planet, where he tells them that he's a celestial, that he's a god, little g. And it's like, you have these powers too, Peter. I've searched for someone like me, and it's you, my son, and all this. Here, let's throw a ball around, play catch. You know, make this energy football, and we're going to toss this around. Well, then Yondu, that's Merle from The Walking Dead, forgot the guy's name. He's on some, like, chilling out planet, where Howard the Duck's talking to some chick, and then, like, everybody's like, oh, you did a terrible job as a Ravager and all this. Sylvester Stallone's there. Those two were on cliffhanger, and he's like, you're not an Ravager anymore. You betrayed me. We don't bring little kids there. So now it's brought up that Yondu was trafficking children. That's awesome. What was he doing? He was bringing kids to Kurt Russell. This is Kurt Russell's kids from other parts of other galaxies and shit. Or parts of planetary systems, and so we learned that he had impregnated a whole bunch of chicks all over the universe, and their children didn't have the gene, and he killed them. He brought him to him, and they couldn't do the celestial shit. Boom, killed him. Well, Yondu gets this bounty from the tall gold chick to go get the Guardians of the Galaxy. He finds their crashed ship, and he has a super huge team. It's like 10,000 people working for him. It's stupid. And they're all getting foiled comedically by Rocket Raccoon, who gets on my nerves so goddamn much. He laughs at his own shit that's not funny. Keeps saying stuff that's not funny at all. Is he the comic relief? Because let me tell you how things used to go. There was a comic relief character, okay? Look at True Lies. Tom Arnold's the comic relief. We don't laugh at Arnold Schwarzenegger, but funny things happen through the movie to various people or around them, what have you. It's not a bunch of people cracking jokes. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is like True Lies if there's 5 Tom Arnolds. We only have one character really playing it straight, and that's Zoe Saldana's Gamora. Everybody else is a joke. Now, Drax I'll forgive, because he was actually funny. I like how they brought him up. He said so little in the last movie, but now he's talking and he's socially awkward, and it makes sense for him. But Raccoon, for us to have this other character who's not funny and talkative and on my nerves and doing useless shit. Well, he gets foiled because the blue bitch escapes, and then she shoots the fin off Yondu when there's a mutiny. That fin he uses to control his arrow that can go through all kinds of shit. They've managed to escape aboard his ship where he was locked up with Raccoon and a 5-minute sequence of Groot not knowing how to bring certain items to them so they can escape. It got on my nerves. And I can kind of forgive little Groot for some of this because at least that character doesn't talk much. So their plan to escape was to just have this arrow kill everybody. There's like thousands of dudes, and at one point, it's raining men, hallelujah. These guys are falling from the sky, and the arrow's going through them. And I like the arrow thing in the first movie because it was a unique weapon we hadn't really seen before. He whistles, the arrow like pierces through people's hearts, and then guys are dropping dead. Now he can just like look at a monitor, like look at a screen, and the arrow's flying through because he's memorized his own ship or something. God, you gone too far with it. This is the same kind of shit with Iron Man, where it was like Iron Man works when Tony Stark can only be Iron Man because he has the reactor, but then Rhodey gets to be, and then Pepper Potts, and then we have like basically androids. We have the suits walking around themselves with nothing in them. It waters down Iron Man. It doesn't make Iron Man any better. So what's so great about Iron Man? See, now this arrow thing, you went too far with it. You nuked the fridge, Guardians of the Galaxy. Director Gunn, right? I think he wrote it too. Okay, so then these guys escape this ship, but the gold people are in pursuit of them anyways. Blue bitch comes to Gamora, and they have a fight, but as everything ends up a joke here, she says she's going to go after them, and she's like, when I was a young girl, I fought my sister, and my father replaced parts of me until I could best her in combat, and I never did, and I'm going to tear her apart piece from piece. I was just waiting for that whole monologue to end because I'm like, there's going to be some kind of joke. Guy she's telling it to goes, oh, I thought you were just going to buy a pretty dress. Yeah, install some breasts on you. So, if everything's a joke, like, how am I supposed to take this serious? Is this supposed to be a spoof? It's getting on my nerves, Marvel. Yeah, so she's on planet Kurt Russell too, and Kurt Russell lets out the beans. Oh, hey, so yeah, I kill all these people because like they didn't have the gene like you, Peter. Oh yeah, and it was a real shame that I gave your mom cancer. You just met this guy, and within one day, you're saying, okay, so I'm your dad, you can do all this, you have all this power, this is our planet, all this. If this planet stays alive, you have infinite life too. By the way, I'm a bad guy, I hope you're a bad guy too, bye. If you've been around 1 billion years, and you know English at least, let's think about this. Is it a good idea to brag about the whole cancer thing? Do you think maybe this would piss off your son and he wouldn't want to go along with your plan? Why did the villain have to be a freaking moron? If he's been around so long, you would assume he's smart. Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, at least in this movie, the cast is kind of small. Like, they're not adding a whole shitload of characters that don't die. That's part of the problem with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They add all these people. You gotta know 15 movies of shit so you can watch the next movie and not be lost. And that movie's only gonna be a trailer for the next one. Now we have this Infinity War thing coming up where we're gonna tie Guardians into all this shit. And then in Guardians Volume 3, they're gonna have to make Captain America jokes. You know, I liked how this stuff was so far away from everything else going on that you didn't need to see those other movies. But that's going to get ruined. And even here, it's like, when I was a kid, a movie comes out, you like it a whole lot, and it doesn't get a sequel, because that's the way things were, and eventually it does. And you're like, yeah, this is going to be awesome, hooray. It wasn't assured there's going to be like a pipeline of 5-9 movies or some shit. And now that's destroyed the whole idea of seeing a sequel. It's like, why bother seeing 2 when you know there's going to be a 3? So that's me venting about some of this shit. Eventually, Baby Groot takes some orders to use these batteries in a bomb to blow up Kurt Russell's brain or heart or something in the middle of his planet. Great location for that. What kind of fall damage does anybody take in this? The people fall a long-ass ways in this movie, and they all survive without ever even being hurt or, oh, I think I broke a leg, nothing. It's just, we fall, and that's it, because we're in a green room. A room full of green shit, and it's a composite shot. Well, it's not okay, green rooms where you get ready to do, like, stage and stuff, but yeah, you get what I'm saying here. So yeah, there's dumb shit happening. I like the way space battles go down. The space battles look great in this movie. You know, it's justified that we have the quality sourced soundtrack here. And, I mean, what else can you say about a movie that looks great, but then the plot's propelled by stupidity? Rocket Raccoon, thankfully he stole some shit they're going to need later, so these gold people have to chase them. Jesus. Kurt Russell's plan to build a network by installing a little plant that no one ever uproots, kills, or nothing. There was never a dead body found behind that Dairy Queen. They never had to search for anyone in the woods. No one ever decided to scoop that up. You know, Mr. Miyagi never came by to make a bonsai tree out of it. You're playing with this network, so this blue shit comes out of the ground, builds a mound that stops before it can kill anybody. Oh, and it gives us some Ford product placement. Convenient. Yondu, it becomes like a big figure in this movie because he's trying to get some kind of redemption story here. It's like, oh, you brought these kids to this evil Kurt Russell, but, you know, how come you didn't bring Peter in, huh? Why? How come you didn't do that? Well, because he could get in small places. You know, he grew some affection towards him. He tells him at the end when he catches up with him, hey, he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. He rescues him with this one. Raccoon only had one spacesuit hologram on him. You like push the button and now you can go in space. Only had one on him. Goodness. And then, as the planet's blowing up, he flies up into space with them, gives them a little goodbye speech, dies in space while rescuing Peter. And then it's like, we got to have the big funeral. I like the way how Gunn, the director here, is like, hey, he's not coming back, not as long as I'm in charge, because his death needs to have some meaning to it. Take note, Marvel. Start killing off some characters so I don't have to remember them. Okay, please. They have a big funeral, even though they say he didn't deserve it. And there's also stupid shit from Raccoon where before he left, he was like, hey, welcome to the Guardians of the freaking Galaxy. Only he didn't say freaking. He's like, to explain your joke ruins the goddamn joke. And yeah, so we're supposed to take this funeral seriously, I guess, and everybody shows up, including Sylvester Stallone, and he's putting his team back together, I guess, or whatever the hell. And then we have a whole lot of catching up with, between the credits of bullshit that happened, and it's like, it's just tiresome. You have to put up with these 2-hour-plus movies that they don't really have any purpose other than they make money and they set up the next movie. So, like, you halfway expect there to be some kind of stupid Infinity War tease, and then you're going to have this Infinity War split into 2, So it's like Infinity War Part 1. When does a Part 1 ever work out? Deathly Hallows, Part 1. A whole lot of setup and some bullshit. Then you get to Part 2 and it's all action sequence. Oh, well, they had to do it because the source material is so big, you know, it's such a fan service thing. I'm a fangirl, That's how stupid everybody's gotten. They know that these fans will go see a movie 10 times. They don't have to make it for a smart person, because a smart person only watches a movie once. So now we're just getting trailers for the next movies. And we have a stupid villain, and everybody thinks they're hilarious. I give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 2.5 out of 4 stars.
Like, comment, share, follow, subscribe. Vaughan Jog Vlog is made possible by your support on Patreon. Patreon.com/Vaughan Fry. Because fuck Google.